Opening with the king's pawn controls the center and opens up the light-squared bishop and queen, often leading to sharp games. E5 is a common response that establishes a presence in the center, controls d4, and opens up the queen and dark-squared bishop. Knight f3 develops the knight toward the center, attacks the e5 pawn, and prepares to castle. Knight c6 develops the knight toward the center, protects the pawn on e5, and eyes the d4 square. In the Scotch game, d4 gains space in the center and attacks the e5 square twice. E takes d4 opens up the center and is somewhat forced given that white was attacking the pawn twice, and protecting with d6 doesn't work out. Knight takes d4 recaptures the pawn and centralizes the knight. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. You are forcing your opponent to double pawns. This is an equal trade. That was an even swap of material. Takes back. You further develop your pieces by moving the bishop. This overlooks a better way to defend a pawn that was under attack. This permits the opponent to force an isolated pawn. You are forcing your opponent to isolate a pawn. Recaptures. You had a chance to play something better. This is the strongest option. Your knight becomes more powerful by developing towards the action. Moving from its starting spot, the knight gets involved in the game. You had a better option, but this is not bad. This allows the opponent to win a pawn through a discovered attack. You'll win the other player's pawn with a discovery. The bishop moves forward into the game. This is called development. You step your king away from the checking bishop. This defends the attacked pawn. You captured a free pawn. This allows the opponent to win material through a fork. Nice fork, you'll be winning material. This evades the check from the knight. You won material by capturing a rook. Takes back. This is a fine move. This is a fair move. You ignored an opportunity to pin a defender of a pawn. You permitted the opponent to set up a blockade. This blocks white's pawn. Connected rooks can be very useful. This evades the check from the bishop. It's good to get your rook off of its starting square and into the action. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. You take back. The rook is now on an open file, which helps control squares across the board. You overlooked an opportunity to challenge the opposing rook for the open file. This permits the opponent to challenge the opposing rook for the open file. That was a fair trade. Recaptures. This is the start of the endgame, and black is losing. You fight against the opposing rook for the open file. This move puts the rook on a safer square. Good job stepping in to defend your pawn. Putting the piece on a blockade square. You dodge the check, moving your king out of harm's way. Black will be winning material with that fork. You escape the check from the knight. This captures a free rook. You captured back. One of the best moves. Very good choice. This defends a pawn that was under attack and had no defenders. This is a good time for you to get out of trouble. This defends the attacked pawn. Your opponent has to watch that passed pawn. A solid choice. Nice way to win material using a fork. This steps away from the checking rook. That pawn was yours for the taking. A very strong play. Your passed pawn is one step closer to promotion. One of the best moves. Good job, that's what I would have played too. Takes back. Well done, an excellent move. That's fine. You captured that free pawn. A solid choice. Good job defending that pawn. This puts the rook behind the other player's passed pawn. Your pawn is no longer hanging and is now defended. This moves the rook to safety. This move gives you a passed pawn, free to advance up the board. This puts the rook behind the other player's passed pawn. Good job stepping in to defend your pawn. Placing a rook behind an opposing passed pawn can inhibit the pawn's ability to promote. This is a fine move. This evades the check from the rook. Passed pawns must be pushed. That pawn was free for the taking. Your passed pawn advances to its goal. A very strong play. You block the check from an opposing rook. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. Your opponent has to watch that passed pawn. Very precise. Your passed pawn is one step closer to promotion. This is a fair move. Passed pawns must be pushed. This is not the right idea. You are threatening to force eventual checkmate. This allows the opponent to force eventual checkmate. Your opponent has no escape. You can force a checkmate with the correct moves. One of the best moves. You continue the checkmate attack. This is a solid choice. Always feels nice to win.